This is Jenna from the QuickBooks team. Customizing your sales forms helps you put your best foot forward whenever you communicate with your customers. Let's go over how to update your sales forms so that they match your company's branding and how to choose what your customers do and don't see on the forms you send. First, select Settings, then Custom Form Styles. Every company starts with the standard style for sales forms. This is your default template. You can select New and start from scratch to create a style for one specific form, or just edit the standard style to make changes to all your forms at once. Let's start in the Design tab. This is where you decide the overall look of the template. Select a template to decide the basic layout. Every good sales form needs a logo. Just select Add a Logo, and then select the box with the plus symbol to upload your company's logo. The colors on your forms change based on the colors of your logo, but you can select Try Other Colors to change that. You can also change your font and layout settings like the margins, or if you want to print your forms onto letterhead paper. You can also lay out forms so that when they're printed, they fit into a windowed envelope, but this isn't available if you chose the Fresh or Bold template above. Select Content to update what info you want to include on your forms. Forms have 3 sections: the header, table, and footer. Select any of these sections to edit them. In the header, you can choose which contact information you want to include when you send forms to customers. The form name appears towards the top, but you can turn this option off. And you can also change the name of each form. For instance, if you send quotes instead of estimates, just replace it. Most businesses include the transaction number, but you can turn it off. You can also choose whether or not you want to number transactions manually. Finally, choose whether or not you want to show shipping info, terms, and even custom fields. These options depend on your company's sales settings. Information about what you're charging your customer for is in the Table section. An account summary is optional, but it's handy if you send invoices to customers who already have balances. With this option turned on, your customer sees what they owed before the invoice as a balance forward, the new charges, and then a total. Go to the Activity table to customize the details about the products and services you're charging a customer for. This is where you can edit and reorder the service date, name of the product or service, description, quantity, rate, total amount, and SKU fields. Your customer will see anything with a check mark, so you can choose what's shown and what's not. You can change the order the fields are listed in. Just drag it to where you want it to go, like this. Select Edit Labels and Widths to change the column labels and widths. Enter the new label in its field and use the bar to widen or shrink a column. Column sizes have a finite space, so you may need to shrink one before you can widen another. There are a few more options available. You can decide how the invoice groups time, whether or not you want to show how much of an estimate has been invoiced through progress invoicing, and how you want markups for billable expenses to appear. These additional features appear if you turn them on in your settings, which we cover in more detail in a separate video that you can find at the end of this video. The last section is the footer. This is where you can include information about discounts you've given a customer and the deposits you've received from them. Also, if you're creating an invoice based on an estimate, you can choose to include a summary. You can also personalize your messages to customers on sales forms and enter a separate message that appears on estimates. Finally, there's an option field for footer text that appears at the very bottom of sales forms. This is usually used for disclaimers. Now you're ready to customize all the forms you send to customers.